Okay, hello everyone and welcome to episode number 1 of Eurogames Analysed. And in this episode I will go over a game which was sent in by someone with the username of TrixAPT. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And he was black in this game, so I'm gonna turn the board. And it was a 15-minute game which was played on the free internet chess server. Okay, his opponent played e4 and he replied with e5, and the game continued with a standard Ruy Lopez, knight f3, knight c6, bishop to b5. And after a6, white played bishop to a4, and black replied with knight to f6. Now white castled, which is the main line, and black decided to go for open Ruy Lopez with b5, bishop b3, and then knight takes e4. And now white played the main line move, which is d4, and now black made the mistake of playing e takes d4, which is a bad move. Better was the main line, which continues with d5, and after d takes e5, attacking the d5 pawn, black can defend it by playing bishop to e6. Okay, but instead black played e takes d4, and now white replied with the correct move, which is rook to e1, creating a pin on the e file. And black replied with basically the only move, d5, defending the knight. And now white made an inaccuracy with knight takes d4. Better was knight to c3, threatening to win a pawn on e4, and if d takes c3, then bishop takes d5 attacks both knights, while this knight is also pinned to the king. After, for example, bishop takes b7, bishop takes e4, white has a big advantage with the threat of bishop takes c6, check, double check, from the rook and bishop. Okay, but black made an inaccuracy with knight takes d4, and now black made a mistake as well by playing queen to f6. Better would have been to play knight takes d4, and after queen takes d4, bishop to e6, defending the pawn, and also getting out of the pin on the e file, which would give an advantage to black, who has now an extra pawn and will consolidate his position with c5 followed by castling kingside. But instead black played queen to f6, and now white played knight takes c6. Better was to play bishop takes d5, which removes the defender of the e4 knight, threatening to take this check and also threatening the knight on c6. Now if queen takes f2 check, then king h1, and if knight takes d4, then rook takes e4 check wins, since both knight and rook are hanging and black is also in check. Okay, so after queen to f6, white made the mistake of playing knight takes c6, and now black replied with the best move, which is bishop to c5. This is better than the immediate queen takes f2, because of the king to h1, bishop to g4. Of course, white cannot take because of queen takes e1, but he can play queen to d2 since the knight is pinned to the king. Okay, so bishop c5 is better. just attacking f2 again and pinning it to the king. Instead, queen takes c6. I mean, in this position, instead, queen takes c6 would be met by takes d5, of course. Okay, now so bishop c5, and then white defended with rook to e2, which is the second best move. Better would have been to just play rook takes e4, just removing that threat from the board. And this comes with check, so black cannot take on f2. And after d takes e4, white has a tactical shot. Bishop takes f7. Check. Because if the queen takes, then we have of course just queen d8, mate. And if the king takes, then we have queen h5 check, just winning the bishop on c5. So black would be forced to play king to f8, and after queen d8 check, queen takes d8, knight takes d8. The best move for black is bishop f5, attacking the knight, and after knight e6, king takes f7, knight takes c5, white has two pieces for the rook with an advantage. And if in this position black tries king to e7, attacking the knight, and if it moves, then king takes f7, unless it goes to e6, then you of course just take on e6 with the bishop. But this unfortunately faced to bishop to g5 check, defending the knight on d8 with tempo. So that would have been a nice tactical shot. Instead, white went for rook to e2, just defending f2, and black castled. This is the only good move, since else white will exploit the pin on the e5.